Imagine you have a best friend. Not just any friend, the kind who was there when nobody else was, the kind who stood by you when the whole world turned its back on you. You shared everything with this person, your secrets, your resources, your future. And then, one day, they burn it all down. Not slowly, not with warning signs you missed. Overnight, they look you in the eyes and they call you evil. They hand your home address to your worst enemy, and they spend the next 40 years trying to make sure you don't survive. Now imagine you never fully understood why. That is the story of Iran and Israel. And I promise you, by the end of this video, you will never look at the Middle East the same way again. Because the real story isn't about religion, it isn't about race, and it isn't about land. It's about something far more dangerous than any of that. It's about power and what people are willing to destroy to keep it. And before we go any further, if you're the kind of person who wants to understand the world behind the world, the history they buried, the stories they never told you in school, then you're exactly where you need to be. Subscribe to Thyra and turn on the notification bell right now, because we go places most channels are too afraid to go. Now, let's get into it. Stay with me, because this one goes deep. The friendship the world forgot. Here's something that will genuinely stop most people cold. Before 1979, Iran and Israel were allies, close ones. Think about that for a second. The same Iran that today calls Israel a cancer, the same Iran that funds the groups firing rockets into Israeli cities, the same Iran whose officials stand at podiums and declare that Israel must be wiped from the face of the earth. That Iran was once Israel's closest friend in the entire region. When Israel was born in 1948, a tiny new nation surrounded by Arab armies that wanted it gone, Iran quietly extended its hand. It became only the second Muslim-majority country in the world to recognize Israel's right to exist. Not because they had to, because they chose to. And it didn't stop there. Over the next 3 decades, Iran became Israel's largest oil supplier. Their intelligence agencies worked side by side. Israeli engineers built things in Tehran. Iranian students walked through Israeli universities. Diplomats exchanged ambassadors. Ordinary people from both countries traveled between the two capitals like it was nothing extraordinary. This wasn't a rumor. It wasn't a conspiracy theory. It was official policy. Israel had what they called the periphery doctrine, the idea that since Arab neighbors wanted Israel destroyed, Israel should build deep, unbreakable alliances with the non-Arab nations on the outside edges of the region: Turkey, Ethiopia, and above all, Iran. For Israel, Iran wasn't just a partner. Iran was a lifeline, a brother in a neighborhood full of enemies. And for a long time, that brotherhood was real. Now let me ask you something. If you knew this, if you knew these two countries were this close, doesn't it make what happened next so much more painful? Because that's exactly what it was. Painful and calculated, and it changed the world forever. The day the friendship died. February 1st, 1979. Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini steps off a plane in Tehran. Millions of Iranians flood the streets to greet him. The Shah, Iran's powerful Western-backed king, has already fled the country. After decades of iron rule, the monarchy is finished. A revolution has just consumed one of the most powerful nations in the Middle East. And within days of Khomeini taking power, he makes something crystal clear. Israel is not a neighbor. Israel is not a partner. Israel is not even a rival to be tolerated. Israel, in Khomeini's words, is the little Satan, a poisonous Western implant in the heart of the Islamic world, a colony disguised as a country, and it had no right to exist. The Israeli embassy in Tehran, that building which had represented decades of friendship and cooperation, was emptied. Its keys were physically handed over to the Palestine Liberation Organization. In one gesture, in one afternoon, 30 years of alliance was erased. Flights between Tel Aviv and Tehran canceled, trade severed, diplomatic ties dead. Now here's what I need you to feel for a second.
Put yourself in the position of an Israeli official watching this happen. This isn't an enemy you've been fighting for years. This is your friend, someone you trusted, someone who knew your secrets, your infrastructure, your military capabilities, because you told them, because you believed the friendship was real. And now that friend is gone, and in their place stands someone who just announced to the world that your country should not exist. That specific kind of betrayal, it doesn't just create anger, it creates fear, a deep existential fear that never fully goes away. And that fear is a huge part of why this conflict became so extreme so fast. Real reason, and it's not what you think. Here's the question nobody asks. Iran is Persian, Palestinians are Arab. These are completely different ethnic groups, different languages, different cultures. Iran shares no border with Israel. No Iranian land is disputed. No Iranian citizen was displaced. So why does Iran care so deeply, so violently, so obsessively about a conflict that is not even remotely their own? This is the question that unlocks everything. The answer isn't faith, or at least it's not only faith. The answer is strategy disguised as faith. Think about Iran's position after 1979. It's a Shia majority nation in a region dominated by Sunni Arab powers. Saudi Arabia is its rival. Iraq, under Saddam Hussein at the time, was its enemy. The United States had military bases all around it. Europe had cut it off. The world had put it in a box. Iran needed influence. It needed allies. It needed a reason for people across the Muslim world, Arab, Sunni, African, Asian, to look at Iran and see a leader. And there was one issue that united the entire Muslim world like nothing else: Palestine. By making the Palestinian cause its cause, by screaming louder than anyone else that Israel must be destroyed, suddenly Shia Iran was beloved in Sunni Arab streets. Suddenly Iran had a seat at every table. Suddenly Shia Iran had reason to send weapons, money, and fighters into countries all across the Middle East: Lebanon, Gaza, Yemen, Iraq, Syria. Every dollar Iran spent on anti-Israel resistance wasn't just ideology, it was investment. It bought Iran influence in places it had no business being. It gave Iran an empire built not on tanks and territory, but on movements. This is the part that should genuinely disturb you, because it means millions of people have suffered and continue to suffer, not purely because of a religious dispute, but because one government found that conflict was more useful than peace. That is the untold story. Pause for a second, because if that just hit you, if you're sitting there realizing that everything you thought you knew about this conflict was only half the story, then do me a favor, share this video right now. Send it to one person who thinks they already understand the Middle East, because I promise you, they don't know this part, and they need to. All right, let's keep going, because this one goes deep. The Shadow War. So, Iran couldn't attack Israel directly. That would mean real war and real consequences. So instead, they built something far more sophisticated. They built a web. Hezbollah in Lebanon, a military force more powerful than most national armies, armed with over 150,000 rockets pointed directly at Israeli cities. Hamas in Gaza, trained, funded, and equipped by Tehran. The Houthis in Yemen firing missiles from the Red Sea. Militias in Iraq and Syria positioned on Israel's eastern borders. For decades, every time something exploded near Israel, Iran was somewhere in the background, quietly, deniably, dangerously. And Israel? They didn't sit and pray. They sent a computer virus, Stuxnet, directly into the heart of Iran's most classified nuclear facility. It destroyed hundreds of centrifuges without a single shot fired. The world didn't even know cyber warfare was possible at that scale until it had already happened. Iranian nuclear scientists began dying in the streets of Tehran, targeted, precise, silent. In 2020, Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, the man who ran Iran's entire nuclear weapons program, was killed by a remote-controlled machine gun that operated without a single human being present on the scene. Think about how that feels if you're Iranian. The enemy is reaching inside your country, inside your most protected facilities, your most protected people, and you can't stop it. And think about how it feels if you're Israeli. You know that somewhere in Tehran, someone is working every day on a weapon designed to end your country. Both sides genuinely believe their survival is at stake. That's what makes this so dangerous. This isn't two governments playing geopolitics. This is two nations locked in an existential nightmare, each convinced the other will not stop until they are destroyed. Where we are now. In 2024, for the first time in history, Iran and Israel stopped hiding behind proxies. They fired missiles directly at each other's territory, not through Hezbollah, not through Hamas, directly, nation to nation, like a Cold War finally boiling over into something that could no longer be contained.